What's going on, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to be talking about my haul for the month of May of 2022. Let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. So this is the segment that I've been doing for quite a number of years and brought a lot of people to my channel. It's where I go over the books that I bought or people have sent my way, wonderful people have sent my way, and quickly talk about why I buy them or what it is so significant about them and why they are added to my collection. The other important thing that I'm going to say is that normally this is when I do an advanced look at upcoming Omnis and things like that. But there is not going to be an upcoming Marvel Omnibus at least until July. So you guys take a little bit of a breather. But then come August and September, whoo, save that money. But yes, don't forget to smash that like button before I get started and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Any questions, leave your questions down below. Some of these I will be doing overviews of because I just got them in this past week and I haven't had a chance to read them. But let's go ahead and get started. First up is my copy of Talon. This is the James Tynion run. And this one retailed for $39.99. This is from the pages of Batman, the Court of Owls. It's a series that's been previously collected in trade paperback format. You do have the artwork in here by Gillen March. And yeah, it collects that particular series. So this, of course, takes place during the New 52, whenever we found out that there was this whole secret society known as the Court of Owls, and this particular character here kind of spawned off of that secret society. And you get beautiful artwork by Gillen March. How this has not been collected in oversized format, knowing the popularity of the New 52 era, I have no idea. I guess for the same reason that we still don't have things like Detective Comics by Tony Daniel collected in oversized format. Maybe one day. DC seems to be really focusing on this particular era. But yes, Scott Snyder helps plot a lot of this, especially towards the beginning. And then, of course, James Tynion, who went on to do Detective Comics and then eventually Batman, and just a phenomenal writer on his own. All the way in the back, this is where we're going to find some variant covers. The book collects issues 0 through 17, and then the Birds of Prey, issue number 21. And here's some Gilliam March sketches and ideas for covers. And some more sketches there. I mean, it's a pretty thick book here. So it seems like the Darkhold has been important back at Marvel, mainly because of the MCU. By the way, love that story right there. It's one of my favorite Doctor Strange stories. And also happens to be a great place to start reading Doctor Strange, because I do where to start reading list. But this is the latest Darkhold series. I haven't had a chance to read this one. One of my viewers told me if I had read it, and I'm like, no, I haven't read the new series. So it does focus Scarlet Witch, and I believe this takes place before the trials of Magneto. So not to spoil anything, I think this is a different Scarlet Witch than what happens during the Hellfire Gala, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, the trial of Magneto. So this book collects Darkhold Alpha and Omega, Blade, and Spider-Man, and Black Bolt. So it's just the story. Man, there's some really kick-ass artwork in this one of the Darkhold, which of course in the comics, and I think now because of Doctor Strange, the movie, they have stated that it is like the counter to the Book of Vishanti. So that is Darkhold, the latest series. Love that cover with Doctor Doom there. Alright, one of my wonderful viewers, I don't know if he wants to be named or not. I'm just going to call him Derek. But thank you, Derek. Now, I have a history, and this is such pure coincidence, I swear. I have a history with this particular book. Now, if you don't know the story of this particular book, this is the Squadron Supreme first printing. This is a trade paperback. A lot of people might get, like, squeamish maybe thinking about this, but this is the masterpiece by Mark Grunwald. There is a wonderful forward here by, I believe, his wife. And I used to have this, and have no idea. Whenever I upgraded to the stupid omnibus, I said, I don't need this anymore. Somebody else can have it. But I completely forgot why I owned it to begin with. And that is because the first printing of these trade paperbacks, the inks were mixed with Mark Grunwald's ashes. So when Mark Grunwald passed away, in his will, he wanted his ashes to be mixed with the inks of this story because the story meant so much to him. Because the story really summed up everything at Marvel, all the best stories that he did. I mean, his 10-year run at Captain America, Quasar, everything that he worked on, he thought this was his best work. And honestly, it's a really great story. But don't compare it to anything like Watchmen. I've seen people do that. They're like, oh, it's like Marvel's Watchmen. There's no such thing as that. There's no comparing anything to Watchmen. I've always had a hard time with that kind of comparison. But yes, if you've not read it, it's a dying universe and a bunch of superheroes trying to save it. And yes, they are purposely looking like the Justice League. These characters were created before Mark Grunwald, but to me, it's one of his best stories. So thank you so much, Derek. It is now back in my library where it belongs, never to be sold again. I know it's a weird thing, but to me, it just represents the love of a creator and his work. That's how much it meant to him. So that's respect. And I swear this was completely pure coincidence, but I also got the Squadron Supreme Omnibus. Actually, I got this right before this came in. I had no idea Derek was going to send me this. This came in, and I've wanted this for a while. I don't know why I didn't get it. This is the expanded Squadron Supreme. So not only does it contain the main maxi series, but it also collects all the appearances of these particular characters in the Marvel Universe, because whenever we're talking about a dying universe and characters from another universe, of course they come over to our 616 universe, or I'm sorry, Marvel 616 universe. I think Kevin Feige really goofed that up with the Doctor Strange movie, trying to make us guess what universe the MCU is in. But in the comics, we have had appearances of these characters in the past, during the run, like in Captain America, and then afterwards you get to see a couple of them appear here and there through just many random issues of comics. Some of you may be familiar with characters like Hyperion because he was a big part of Avengers during the Hickvengers run, or even the Hyperion that was in the Exiles. It was that X-Men Quantum Leap type of story, which is freaking great. I love to see that collected in omnibus format. And this is one, I don't know why I didn't get it. Oh, speaking of Exiles, I didn't know that was in here, seriously. What I was going to say is that it was liquidated. I think it went on sale, and I decided to get it. I think it was $30. D Header had it. Or no, it wasn't him. Maybe it was somebody on Amazon. It was still sealed. It had a little ding corner, but I'm okay. It doesn't really bother me that much. It's just like Greg Land artwork here. And then some stuff from Marvel Age. So this was one of Marvel's first expanded omnis. Instead of reprinting the Squadron Supreme omnibus, they gave us a bigger expanded omnibus with a lot more content. And we've seen the same thing. They did it with Eternals. What else did they? Oh, they're doing it with Iron Fist. So it's not like this. But this was one of the earliest times that they had done that, giving us more content and rebranding the omnibus. But this is Squadron Supreme. Look at all these creators here. Hyperion and Nighthawk right there. This one retails for $125. But like I said, because it was liquidated, I got it at a pretty good price. And I think it's still around that price until it's completely gone. And then, well, you all know how that goes. Alright, so you may see this book. This looks like the Ghostbusters ghost capture thing. You may see this book appear later on, probably in my Hidden Gems videos. So this is from husband and wife team, Catherine and Stuart Eminem. This is the Grass of Parnassus. And it's done in this widescreen format, like this. Comes in a nice slipcase. This is one that I've been wanting to check out. Just honestly, what I saw was this cover. And I don't know, just sometimes covers really get me. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta check that out. I had no idea it was Stuart Eminem because I'll be honest, I thought Stuart Eminem had retired. It does have some, I was going to say, it has some dialogue, because I started skimming through here. His wife is the writer, and he is the co-creator slash artist on the book. But it's both of them working on their own project. No idea what this is about. There's a bear in an astronaut suit and speaks. Hell yes! Doesn't take a lot for me. But yes, this is still in print. I don't know for how much longer. But it's called The Grass of Parnassus. And this is what the cover looks like here. And then the back cover. It is $29.99. It is a hardcover. And like I said, comes in this little slipcase that looks like a Ghostbusters ghost trap. Now, I've done an overview of the Heathen Omnibus. So hopefully I didn't turn into a page that has boobies, because it does have a lot of that, especially towards the beginning, especially when you're dealing with the character Freya. But if you want to check that out, click on the link above, because that's where you'll find this. Alright, Lock and Key, the Golden Age. So I got so excited about this when IDW announced they were going to do a collection of all the short stories like Small World, Open the Moon, Face the Music, because those stories are not collected in the Lock and Key Master Editions, in the box set, in the compendium, which is really an omnibus. I was like, yes, okay, they're doing the right thing. They're giving us that collection of all these stories, because I did not want to buy like standard size hardcovers that were only 40 pages. So I got so excited when this was announced. Then I saw the size of this. It is a standard size hardcover, meaning if you have the compendium or the master editions and you want to put this up next to them, it falls a little short. It's, not as tall. If you want to see my video on the different type of collected editions, I think I put it in the home of the channel. But if you have the box set or the standard size hardcovers, this is great. This is a great addition. And honestly, sizes in books is just something that I got used to. I'm not going to have everything in the exact same format. That's why I get Epic collections and Omnibus editions. But with this, I thought, okay, all of the miniseries, not including the Sandman stuff, are finally going to be collected. Hopefully, they'll release in deluxe edition first, and then standard size hardcover. I don't know if they're ever going to release it in deluxe edition. Part of me says yes. Part of me says they'll go back and expand the compendium one day. Not for many years. But for me, this is okay because I get to read it. I haven't read these stories yet. Just very excited to finally be able to check it out. Oh, hells yes. This is barbaric. And this is from Vault Comics. So Vault Comics is doing some hardcovers now, which I kind of hope they'll do that with Heathen. I kind of hope they do that with the Savage Shores, because they put out a lot of great books. This is Michael Moretti and Nathan Gooden. It is a standard size hardcover, so just like the Lock and Key. And when I say standard size hardcover, if you haven't seen my video, it's the size of a trade paperback. It's the size of your floppy, your single issues. This thing is brutal. And, after hearing about the whole Conan thing and Marvel, and I'm in the same boat as a lot of you all are. We love Conan. We love those Marvel years and Savage Sword of Conan's. I wanted to check this out because, now I got that bug. I got that barbarian bug. So I even got to check out the Barbarian by Ablaze, which is honestly cool artwork with those stories. Woo, dialogue. My goodness. But this is definitely mature content. It does have nudity. It does have a lot of violence. This is a lot of fun. It's probably one of my favorite reads this year so far. From one of my wonderful viewers, New Spooey Channel, he gave me a copy of Little Gotham to give away, and he was like, wait, Omar doesn't have a copy? So he sent me a copy. This is the Dustin Nguyen series. Dustin Nguyen had drawn Detective Comics and Batman Comics with Paul Dini. He's currently working with Jeff Lemire on Ascender, which is the follow-up to Descender. And he's been drawing comics for a long time, but this is like his chibi size Little Gotham characters of Batman, Robin, all the characters in Gotham, of course, except they're all small. It's adorable. It looks like a kid's book. And I've been wanting, I don't know why I never ended up getting it. And he sent this copy my way, and there's also a copy to give away whenever we get into a milestone. But he also sent me this, the wedding album. This is the X-Men wedding album with this certificate right here that I can assume I can put my name there. It's my diploma graduating from the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. It's worth more than my college degree, I'm sure. Now, I've done an overview of both of these books. This is Firepower. I just did the overview, I believe, this past Friday, Sunday? I can't remember. Robert Kirkman, Chris Samney's book. And this here is The Quorum by Jonathan Hickman and Mike Huddleston. This is a deep read right here. It's confusing as hell, and I loved it. But this artwork, I've done an overview of both of these if you want to check it out. Now, the book that I just started reading that you will be seeing an overview on the channel for this week is Murder Falcon. This is the hardcover edition. Daniel Warren Johnson, who apparently can carry a monthly book. He's the artist and writer of issues 1, 2, and 3. But this is the deluxe edition, and I just started reading it this week. I'll be doing an overview of it later on. And guys, artwork is just phenomenal. From Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, to the Beta Ray Bill. I hope we get a gallery edition of that book because it's so badass, and his art rightly deserves to be in oversized format. So look for this overview on the channel this coming week. These next two books are from one of our wonderful viewers, Tomar, who has a funny story. How on our Saturday stream, he told us how he found these books. He sent us a wonderful gift to the astonishing Melanie and myself, and then he sent me, these are Italian versions of the Meta Barons. So he knows that sometimes I like to get or give away different versions from different countries of these type of books. I got to be careful flipping through here because we are talking about Jodo and Jimenez's work. So there's, well, if you've read it, you know what I mean. But this is the Italian version, and it's pretty interesting because this is books 7 and 8, but it is the Meta Baron. So I wonder if the previous books were part of the Incal or if they were Meta Barons. I was looking to see if there was anything extra, and there's nothing really extra on the back. It's just the actual story. So it feels like a magazine collection, but it is in hardcover format. So, man, that is greatly appreciated. It is so cool. Yep. No nips. We're good. Speaking of what I just said a second ago, this is Girls and Goddesses, the pinup art of Joseph Michael Linsner. And this was sent to us by our wonderful viewer, News Pooey Channel. So it's just the pinup work of Linsner. Of course, he is the creator of Dawn, so there's a lot of her in here. Let me see if I can find a couple pages. A couple of my viewers were like, hey, you should do a Patreon-only exclusive, because, yeah, you could show whatever you want on there, but here on YouTube, you got to be careful. So let me see if I can find at least a couple pages that are safe. Hey, that was a pretty good guess. I just kind of flipped it here. All right. Let me see if I can find another one. Okay, so here are a couple others. These ladies are fully clothed. Most of these are not. So you kind of get the idea of what this art book is like. And I'll just leave it with this one here. At least she's wearing clothes, but she's in that kind of pose. And yeah, you all get the idea. So I will take the advice, and I'll probably do some kind of Patreon exclusive overview. It does come. So underneath the dust jacket is this, and I can't even show what the flap is. Yay. All right, let's keep going. These next three books I've done an overview on the channel. This is the 2022 version of Teen Titans by Jeff Johns, one of my favorite stories. Really quickly, the big difference is the binding and then the art underneath. So the original Teen Titans had it was black, it was embossed with the Teen Titans logo, but this is the 2022 version. The colors are a little bit lighter, and also I think the binding is better, both in this and the latest printing of Superman, The Death and Return of Superman. The binding is a lot better. So if you didn't get the 2019 version, then this is great. This is identical to the same mapping. It's the exact same files. Colors look no different. The fold-out page, of course, is there in both printings, the 2019 printing and this particular printing. I showed it off in the overview. This is the whole reason why I bought the 2019 version. No difference underneath the dust jacket. It's the exact same art by John Bogdanove. But mainly, it's the binding that's better. And that's really the only difference. And then just yesterday, I did the Legion 5 years later, Volume 2. Hoping that we'll get a Legionnaires Omnibus by Mark Waid. That would be cool, collecting that era. And also finishing out the Legion of Superheroes. So I think Legionnaires went on for 70 issues or so. Moving on to the Kyle Pile. So as a lot of you know, I've been doing a Superman reading order I'm currently filming 3, reading a bunch of 4. I'm going to try to limit to just 5 parts. But Kyle said, man, I'm going to send you the books you're missing for your last part, because he knew I wasn't picking up the Bendis era of Superman, other than a few that I have. So, big thank you to Kyle. Let's look at a couple of these. And of course, the one thing you're going to notice is that there's no numbers. Hence, reading orders. There's no Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 45 with these. It's just the names, the titles, the Superman, The One Who Fell, things like that. So, let's look at a couple of these here. We've got Superman, The Truth Revealed. So yeah, I already have some. I think the ones that I have are in standard size hardcover because I wanted to, read that particular era. And there are some things that, is that Ivan Reyes? Okay, Ivan Reyes on artwork though. And I think John Romita Jr., yeah, he's the one that does this. But what I was going to say is that there are a lot of things I didn't agree with what Superman did with a particular character. But I think a lot of that had to do with the editorial mandate. I don't think it was quite him. So you'll be actually looking at a lot of these with me when I talk about part 5, because I got to go and read these first. This is Superman War World Rising, Philip Kennedy Johnson. I think this is his first book right here. Man, that's got some gorgeous artwork. And I'm a big fan of Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's a little wordy, but hell, that's okay. Not everybody else is. And it's a little wordy. Like, I know I say that compared to Bendis. Bendis is also a little wordy, but Bendis has more of a talking heads kind of thing. People sitting around, drinking coffee, and talking about things, which there's nothing wrong with that. This is the Future State book. And I hadn't read any of these stories right here in the Future State. And here's a couple of other Brian Michael Bendis books. The Mythological, with, again, it looks like Ivan Reyes on artwork. Man, that guy can draw. That guy's an awesome artist. And actually, that looks like Brian Hitch a little bit right there. I don't think it is. I think it's still Ray. Yeah, it's still him. But it looked like Brian Hitch a little bit. Ivan Reyes, Danny Mickey. Danny Mickey, that was Rob Liefeld's inker for a long time. This is Superman, The One Who Fell, Philip Kennedy Johnson. And I believe that's Dustin Nguyen, right? Or nope, Phil Hester. That's who it is. Okay. Yeah, now that I look at it, that is Phil Hester's artwork. It looked a little bit like Dustin Nguyen. And then the latest book, this is the one that just came out. One of my favorite creators is working on the book, Tom Taylor. I have not read a single issue of this. All I know is, of course, the things that the news talked about. And I think that things get taken out of context and people get upset and things get blown out of proportion. So, to me, I don't really care about other people's opinions on books. There are books that other people love that I can't stand, or vice versa. There's a lot of books that I love that other people can't even stomach. So, I think sometimes, though, whenever you see things on the news, people don't even give the book a chance and they immediately hate it. Look, I'm a fan. I get that. There's a lot of things like I wasn't a fan of either, like casting Ben Affleck as Batman was a mistake. But hey, gave it a shot. I think Affleck as Batman was not part of the problem. Anyway, this looks awesome. I like the artwork here. Who's the artist on the book? John Timms. I don't know if I'm familiar with his work. He has a slick style to it. Okay, well, you'll be seeing these in the Superman reading order, probably part 5. Absolutely part 5. Then, of course, you saw my overview of the Parker Martini edition, Last Call. And again, link is up above, or just look for hardcover reviews. We have playlists on the channel. Last but certainly not least is Jack Kirby's Absolute Fourth World. After reading the Omnibus 2 years ago, that was the first time I had read it, or was it? No, 2019. I missed out on these. These are the Absolute editions, and they had just reprinted Volume 1, and they gave us a Volume 2, and I said, you know what, screw it. I love this psychedelic 3D look to the design. I think Chip Kidd is the designer on the book. I did an overview of Volume 2, and yes, this is everything that's already in the Omnibus. However, it got the Absolute treatment, so the artwork is bigger. And I don't want to say it's necessarily better, but sometimes bigger is better. And then sometimes, it's just stretched out art where they stretch out the actual panels, and that looks rough. I want to say for example, the X-Men extra large, the Jim Lee extra large. Yeah, all that is just stretched out panels, so it doesn't look as good as it could have if they had just used like some new scans. Or Kabuki, the library editions. The Kabuki library editions are just stretched out panels as well, so the pages are stretched out and they look a little awkward. That's why I settled for the Omnibus, which I still haven't finished yet. But with this, yes, they're using the masters and they're just blowing them up a little bit bigger. That's why the lines look so defined. And it's Jack Kirby at his best. Even though he didn't get to finish the story the way that he wanted to, it's still Jack Kirby at his best, especially Volume 1. It's a little bit of a slow burn with those Jimmy Olsen issues. But when you get to the Forever People, when you get to Orion, Mr. Miracle, man, this kicks all kinds of ass. This man, Jack Kirby, was not only, a freaking god when it came to art like this, the spread page. Holy crap, look at that spread. But he was also a visionary when it came to comics. He wanted to start doing different things. He wanted to start doing bigger books, like library type of books, hardcovers, bigger size books where people can experience bigger artwork. So even back then in the 60s and 70s, he wanted library editions. He wanted absolute editions. He wanted omnibus editions. Jack Kirby. Freaking visionary. I don't think that's ever in his resume when people talk about him. We all talk about his art and how great he was and how much he changed comic book art forever. But he was also a lot of the behind the scenes when it came to like the reproduction of his work. I think when DC decided to reprint his books in those special editions, he wanted to add more things to them, give people a little bit of bang for their buck. Yeah. So I like to think he'd be happy with these books here. These omnibus editions, these absolute editions. I like to think that the king, is smiling down on his work now being shown in this format. But yes, this is the very first volume. Let's see, is the extras in the back. We probably have original. Yep, we have original art. Jack Kirby's Fourth World. There's Jack himself. So there's only 2 volumes because all it does is collect the exact same material that's in the omnibus format. Alright, so here we have some pinups. And there's Jack himself right there. This is by Jack Kirby and Vince Colletta. And what's up, Big Barda? What's going on? Big Bear and the Black Racer. All characters introduced through this particular run. With the exception of course, Jimmy Olsen. There's Funky Flashman, who may look familiar to some of you all, maybe a little bit. Guy was the hype machine. It's based on Stan Lee. He does come back later on. I mean, you'll see him in other works that feature the Fourth World. But, yeah, and then we have some original artwork here. And, of course, I've talked about it in detail when going over my Omnibus edition or the Absolute, how they had to go back and change Superman's face because Superman had to have a specific face if it was done by DC. And afterward by Mark Evanier, who did actually a run on the Fourth World. And then, of course, this psychedelic 3D paper. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing any of these books and they're still in stock, check out our sponsors. If you live in Europe and are interested in pre-ordering or purchasing Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC big books within the EU. Flat shipping of €9.90 for EU countries. Extremely careful and sturdy packaging. Emails are answered within 24 hours. And they have a superb selection of new releases and out-of-print books on their website. Just head over to waltzcomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. And for a limited time, you can use the code nearmintcon, all one word, at the checkout for free shipping to all EU countries with your first order. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my haul for the month of May. Let me know in the comments down below what you picked up, what your favorite book was that you picked up in May, what obscure title you picked up because somebody recommended it. If you want to see any of these books featured a little bit more, by all means leave those comments down below. And at this time, I just want to thank our patrons for making videos like this possible. Could not be doing this without you all. The link to our Patreon is in the description of the video. And everyone, please stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.